Michael Chandler believes he beats Charles Oliveira 9 times out of 10, despite losing to Charles twice now. Speaking to Ariel Helwani, Chandler said, "I am not happy with my performance. I would give myself a 2 out of 10. I cannot overstate how horrible a performance this was, or set of circumstances it was after that first round, compared to what my vision was for what I am capable of. I believe I beat Charles Oliveira 9 times out of 10. Obviously, I've lost to him twice now. 2 out of 2. I have a 100% loss rate, so I understand why people might tisk at that, roll their eyes at that, but I'm so unhappy with my performance. I'm so excited to get healthy, and I'm so excited to give the fans and my supporters and everyone else out there the performance that they deserve. It was just not the performance that I wanted, and it really sucks. I was a lot happier before I watched the fight than I was after I watched the fight. Not necessarily the fight itself, just the commentary, watching it on TV compared to being in the arena. If you were there that night, a lot of people were wowed by it. They loved it. It was an awesome fight, but watching it on TV wasn't as appealing to me. A little bit of the commentary when it comes to some of the stuff that they were saying, the misinterpretation of what the back of the head is by the unified rules of MMA, the misinterpretation of what cage grabbing is, and a couple of different things. It's all water under the bridge at this point, but more than anything, I'm an honest guy. I try to live pretty full of integrity and full of honesty, and a narrative that has been painted is not very interesting to me. I'm not very happy about it, but it's all a part of it. I'm not going to say I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to say people couldn't look at it and splice it and look it under a fine-tooth comb and a magnifying glass, but the unified rules of MMA say there is a line drawn from the crown of the head to the neck, 1-inch variance on either side. So you're talking about a 2-inch area of the back of someone's head that is considered the back of the head. And if you watch, 90% of the shots, at least most of them, almost all of them, or at least where I was aiming, all of them, my fist was catching the ear. So if you're catching the ear, that is not the back of the head. A referee who is 2 feet away never said one thing about it. And then you've got the commentators who are 35 feet away saying it's the back of the head, and other people saying it's the back of the head, just like the Poirier fight. Things are happening. It's going 1,000 miles an hour. And ultimately, you're dropping a guy, you're down on points, you're trying to hit him, and you're trying to get him out of there. I'm not 100% thinking about that little red line between the back of the head the whole time. Chandler also gave his reaction to Conor McGregor's assault case. He said it's a horrible position all around for everyone involved. The best thing he can do, most likely, is to get back moving to a common goal. Why not fight me? Why not be training to fight me? Umar Numagomedov is promoting a crypto coin called Convict McGregor. Khabib reposted this to X. It says the Convict Project will donate towards the legal fees of the victims of Convict McGregor. Support the movement. Khabib wrote, "Good job, guys. You have my full support. This guy deserved punishment." Merab Dvalishvili goes off on Umar Numagomedov in a new skit. Merab posted this video to his Instagram. He wrote, "Back into the classroom to drop hard truths. Lessons for my victories and who's worthy of facing me next. If you don't know, now you know. Got questions? I've got answers."
Hello everyone, Professor Dvalishvili is back to teach you another important lesson. So we have Merab. Wow, what a handsome guy, the current champion. He has 11 fight win streak and has beat 4 ranked and still active former UFC champions. Jose Aldo, Peter Yan, Henry Cejudo, and Sean O'Malley. Then we have former champion Peter Yan, who has beat top ranked opponents. Davison Figueiredo, Song Gidong, I can even give him Sean O'Malley, Ori Sanhagan, and King of Rio, Jose Aldo. Last and certainly least, we have Umar. And he has beat who? And who? No one but gifted Sanhagan.
Bruh.
Also, reminder guys, I was backup fighter for O'Malley versus Vera, and when UFC asked Umar to be backup fighter for me and O'Malley, he said no. I mean, this guy wants title shot served to his bed like a breakfast. Biggest lesson here, Umar, get to work, you're not my level. Earn your title shot like rest of us, whose last names don't get gifts. Class dismissed.
Robert Whittaker thinks that Jon Jones has to fight Tom Aspinall. However, Rob says he personally would rather see Jon fight Alex Pereira.
Where do they go now? Because obviously Jones, his direction after Stipe is, it's a big debate.
No, it's not. Say the answer.
It's a big debate.
No, it's not, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No. I'm 100% for him fighting Aspinall. He has to. There can't be two belts in the same division. I don't know what. Like, you go take the belt off Jones. Look, I feel like Jones versus Aspinall or Jones retires is kind of the play. But bro, I would love to see that fight so bad.
It would be so good, bro.
Jones versus Pereira. Dude, I would love to see that so bad.
Would you prefer to see that over Aspinall?
I would.
Wow.
I really would. Well, only because of how well Pereira's going. And no, I don't want to see Pereira fall, but I want to see him go against a guy that has the wrestling caliber of Jones, especially at heavyweight, where Jones has even more strength. He was said to be strong, and as a light heavyweight, I can only imagine, especially with the way he manhandles people like as a heavyweight. That's I want to know. I'm so curious because I definitely think Aspinall's a much harder fight than Pereira.
Yeah,
for Jones, definitely. I think Aspinall could be the guy to actually beat Jones, perhaps, just because of how well-rounded his skill set is. You know, he hasn't been in as many wars as Jones. He's still young, vibrant.
Mike Perry and Frankie Edgar preview the upcoming fight between Eddie Alvarez and Jeremy Stephens at BKFC in Philadelphia. Perry also discusses a recent back and forth he had with Eddie on social media. Go check out the full episode of the Overdogs podcast. Links in the description.
Thoughts on that one?
Well, you know, Eddie's a teammate of mine, a buddy of mine. We came up kind of together. I did fight Jeremy Stephens also back in the, a while back now.
Yeah, it was a while.
And yeah, I mean, I think Eddie is probably the bigger fighter in there too. He's got, I don't know if he has more experience with the bare knuckle. I don't know how many fights.
Not as much in bare knuckle. Jeremy's fought quite a few times, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't fight the caliber, in my opinion, that Eddie fought.
Agree. Yeah. So yeah, I think Eddie's gonna have what it takes to get it done. It's in Eddie's hometown too, so I'm sure he's gonna put on a little extra stink on it. You know what I mean? Being at home.
Yeah. He was writing me back. We were arguing a little bit last night on social media. I think he said something about the difference was I wore glasses to the post-fight press conference and he didn't. But I posted 2 pictures where my eye was closed and his eye was closed. But the difference was he was the one who closed my eye and I didn't quit. So, but I like Eddie, man. I just like to mess with him a lot. He likes to hit back, you know.
He does.
When I mess with him.
He does.
He talks back. So I've always been a fan of Eddie.
Michael Bisping thinks that Aljamain Sterling is in a tough position right now. Bisping thinks his upcoming fight against Movsar Evloev is an extremely difficult matchup.
Do you agree that there's any validity to this kind of thought process that, like, this is a really tough spot for Aljamain Sterling? Obviously, a champ at 35. Loses the belt to Sean O'Malley, comes up to 45 against Kelvin Kattar. Movsar Evloev, all right, hardcore fans will know him, right? But, you know, there's a lot of non-hardcore that probably aren't aware of him, aware of how good he is, you know, and he's a really, really tough guy to beat. And if Aljo isn't successful here, that's going to massively derail any talk, any possibility of fighting for the championship at 145. You know, so it's a really, really dangerous matchup.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's why he's taking it. I think he knows that it's a situation to be in because, again, most people have no idea if you're just a casual fan watching on the weekends here and there, especially just pay-per-views. You're not going to necessarily know who Movsar is, but if you beat him, at least the UFC knows what you did. You know what I mean? And then you're gonna be like, listen, I took a fight against that guy. I'm a former champ. I fought a guy with very low name power, at least in the United States, and I beat him. Then you can start being like, well, now I want to be fighting top contenders. I want to put myself into the mix. But I agree with you that if he loses and it's like a tough fight, the people are going to do the same thing they always do with him. They're going to give him shit, unfortunately for him.
Luke Rockhold had some harsh words for Paul Craig. Following his loss to Bo Nickel, Luke says that he's just not that good at anything. Khalil Rountree then reflects on when he fought Craig back in 2017 and was basically toying with him.
I mean, he should be using his wrestling to some extent, not just like there's no like take him down, let him up, show your authority, show that who you are. Just it looks weak. His whole strategy, his team, whoever put this together, it's like Paul Craig is not that good at anything. Right. And like if you're that good of a prospect, this kid was calling out me. He's calling out a lot of like he's talking to a lot of people.
You didn't see what I did to Paul Craig?
No, I didn't see that one.
You guys didn't see that?
What you do?
Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up.
I mean, like there's been some impressive like submission wins, but there's never really been anything that. But I mean, like he submitted Jamal Hill and all this stuff, and it's like I think that people get so caught up in hype and things where they start to believe that people are more than what they show.
And if
you get what
a guy like Bo Nickel is believing that in Paul Craig, that just shows how weak you are mentally.
Or what your coaches are telling you too, right?
Yeah, just to back up kind of what Luke was saying, there's nothing really that's like crazy that stands out. I knew that he was trying to shoot. So I was just like really comfortable, and I just was, still myself and keeping the distance and throwing strikes. But I knew that the only like thing he thought he could do to beat me was shoot.
And he's
I was
not
like toying with him. I don't toy with people in this fight. Like I was literally like mocking him. I actually wore the yellow shorts were like a representation of Anderson because I just did Anderson.
Jon Jones says that if he could choose any fighter to invite to his house for Thanksgiving, it would be Daniel Cormier.
One fighter I would invite over for a Jones family Thanksgiving, I think Daniel Cormier. He seems like a guy who can eat.
Conor McGregor has lost more business today in wake of being found liable for assault. According to the Irish Times, the leading British retailer Asda confirmed on Thursday afternoon that it had removed the Forged Irish Stout brand from its stores and online site. Also, JD Wetherspoon announced on Thursday it had removed the Forged Irish Stout brand from 7 pubs across the Republic of Ireland. Also, the DAA, the operator of Dublin and Cork airports, removed the proper number 12 and Forged Irish Stout brands from the shelves in both airports last weekend. They released a statement saying we can confirm that none of the bars in Dublin or Cork airports sell either proper number 12 or Forged Irish Stout. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Pepperoni Sandwich Fan. It says, saw Jon Jones at the park yesterday. He was swimming in the pond and people were feeding him bread. The second one's from Shooter McGavin. It says, Rampage can't be for real. Stipe is 42 years old. How is he a tougher test than a guy that's been knocking out every contender with ease? And the final one's from Mike Haywood. It says, I'm convinced that Rampage and DC build up this image of Jon being impossible to beat because it helps them get over the loss. Thinking that Stipe had a better shot than Aspinall is criminally stupid. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.